I remember a time in my life where I felt completely disconnected. I'd lost touch with my body. I'd lost touch with understanding my values and my needs. Growing up a very sensitive child, it led me into my 20s where I started going into relationships with this immense amount of shame. And I actually used sex as a way to punish myself, allowing people to do whatever they wanted to me. And along the way, I lost my voice more and more and more. And then I thought, let's heal my body. Let's find a way to connect again. And I dove into studying nutrition and fitness. And I started running this very successful business in the fitness industry. I became a competitive bodybuilder. And it was a step, but it wasn't the full step. I started this brilliant connection with my physical body. But because I hadn't dealt with my own emotions, I hadn't developed the skills around emotional intelligence that we're going to explore here today, that I wasn't listening to what my body was needing. And it was in the last year of competition where I was training so hard. I had this vision of doing fitness modeling, and I was on my 4th cycle of steroids and drinking liquid ephedrine, which is basically a legal form of speed. And I was so disconnected. My body was so tired. My body fat stopped dropping, and we were about a month out from my next competition. And rather than listening, because I really believe that our bodies are the most intelligent thing, and they talk to us. They tell us what they're needing. And rather than listening to what my body needed, my manic mind, that place of my chaos of emotion in my head leading the way, I'm like, I can do this. I'm like, all I need to do is be strong. And if I'm strong enough, I can do anything. So why would I listen to my body? So I think I added on about 2 more spin classes a week. So I was spinning, for those of you who know what that is. I was in the gym, working out hard, spinning about 5 times a week. And my body just kept getting tireder and tireder. And I started experiencing this intense brain fog every day. Like my thoughts weren't clear, my head was getting really tired. And I just kept going for it. Until one day I woke up and I could barely walk. I put on about 30 pounds in 48 hours. And it was devastating. To me, life was over. Everything that I had dreamed of happening in my world just fell apart. And I didn't really know what to do at the time. My body was my business card, and my work was in the fitness industry. And people would come up to me and ask, what happened to you? And it's interesting because that's what I held on to. And when I heard that, it's like nothing happened to me. My physical body's changed, but nothing's actually happened to my essence. And in that time, I was depressed for about a month. And I remember sitting in my home, hard to leave my house. And suddenly this voice came in when I got really still. And I sat in the pain and the discomfort. This voice came in telling me, no one else is going to change this for you. And that you have a choice. And I believe we all have a choice. I had a choice. And the choice was either to sit in this place of depression and allow it to take me into this endless abyss, or to do something different. And so I started going in the doing something different mode. And I thought, wow, could this be happening to not just shift my personal direction, but to shift the way that I worked with people, to shift the way that I helped people in the world. And so I went with that, and I started going to bookstores at least once a week. And I just sat there and I got still and I listened. I'm like, I'm gonna watch for what jumps out at me and not have an agenda of what book I'm going to buy. And sure enough, I started picking up books around self-help, Eastern philosophy, Eastern medicine, spirituality, and I became like a sponge. And it was in that time frame, I also felt, there's more. There's more that I'm being guided to. So I did a Google search and I researched wellness centers, and I'm just like, maybe it's time to radically change something. And sure enough, this school in the middle of the Swiss Alps pops up on my computer screen and my whole body. I don't know if you've ever felt this, but when your gut says that's it, but you don't listen. Well, it's in that moment when my gut said, that's it. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Just like, I'm going to Switzerland. And so I followed that gut response, possibly for the first time ever in my life. And I did. I sold everything I owned. I actually moved in with my mom for 8 months in order to save rent. And 8 months later, I had a plane ticket and I took off. My life was in one green suitcase. And I moved to the Swiss Alps, which became my new start. Because prior to that, I was disconnected to my body, my feelings, my voice. And that fresh start allowed me to commit to this again. So it was in that new beginning that I actually devoted my path to 7 years of celibacy, because I knew that if I wasn't going to be able to know all of me, my body, my mind, my sexuality, and my spirit, that how could I expect and ask someone else to know those parts of me to the degree that I really wanted them to? And so today, we're going to dive into those practices that I not only teach and share, but they're a part of my path. To this day, they're part of my everyday path. Because I believe the way to our transformation, the way to more intimacy and connection, is going through our pains. And to come out on the other side, I believe we can create and find the biggest miracles.